All right, hello everybody. With hurricane season ramping up, wanted to do a generator video. So I get a lot of questions about generators. Oh, what size generator do I need? Oh, wait, I need a whole house generator, propane generator, gas generator, portable. So many options, and I thought we'd do a quick video before you spend a lot of money. Over the years, I've actually acquired quite a few generators. Anything as small as tailgate generators that you would just take camping, just to run some fans or lights, to something larger that can pull 30 amps to run a whole house. So let me show you what I have. This was my first generator. I bought this shortly after we had our daughter, and I needed something to be able to run a refrigerator and just some basic essentials around the house. So this is just a 120 volt generator. Nothing super fancy, and I just ran this with extension cords from my porch. So this can run on gas or propane. Now, something to take into consideration is you really want to count up all the appliances that you would like to use with your generator and look at the wattage. So basically there's running watts and starting watts. So things that use motors like refrigerator compressors, anything that has kind of a non-constant load is going to have a little bit of inrush when you start it. Things like TVs and fans, those are going to be pretty much the same wattage the entire time that you're running them. Another thing to keep in mind is the wattage on gasoline. There's a higher energy output than there is with propane. That's because gasoline is a more energy dense fuel source. But it's also a lot more complicated to store gasoline than it is propane. So depending on what you can get your hands on, how you store it, dual fuel generator may be something to consider. So this is a small tailgating generator that I got. And I got this mainly just to have something lightweight for camping so I could run some fans, charge my phone, and this actually can run my home office. So I could run my monitor, computer, everything I need for my internet. And it's a really small, compact, fuel-efficient item. But it's not going to run your refrigerator. It's not going to run all your deep freezers. So this is not something you'd want to power your whole house with, but it can run some essentials. My latest acquisition, and this I bought last year on sale on Amazon. I think it was about 50% off. This is an inverter generator, very similar to the smaller unit that I have right here. And the big advantage of inverter generators is the power quality. So a generator has a motor inside of it, and as it's generating that rotation, it's charging and spinning an alternator, which is basically putting out the electricity. Sometimes these more old-fashioned traditional generators have a little bit of distortion in the sine wave. These newer inverter generators have a much more digitally processed signal output, so you get a much smoother sine wave generation, much more applicable for sensitive electronics, computers, things like that. So this was kind of an overall upgrade, if you will. Still runs on propane or gasoline, and we'll do a quick overview of how I have my generator interconnect set up. Okay, so just coming from the fuel source, standard 20-pound propane tank will run this generator at 50% load for about 21 hours. So this generator, I have an RV outlet here, it's 30 amps, but I wanted something a little more sturdy to go into the house. So this is an L530 NEMA plug with an adapter to the 30 amp RV plug. And what this does is it gives me a twist lock here and then a twist lock here at my inlet box. So this is what comes into my transfer switch inside the laundry room. So I'll show you more about that later. And this NEMA plug has a twist lock, so it's not likely to fall out. So notice this green light is not on yet. More on that later. So for this generator, it has an electric start. You can always do the pull start. But with this one, it's super nice because you can just switch it over to run. Now for gasoline, you want to put it to choke, but propane, you can just push it here to start. Super quiet. Now, we have good voltage here at the inlet box. Now I'll take you inside and show you how I have the transfer switch set up. Okay, from the inlet box, the 10-2 Romex comes up, runs through my ceiling and all the way over to my panel box. Okay, here we are in the laundry room. It's my panel box, normal 200 amp service. You know, you have all your electrical circuit breakers here. What I did is I went through and picked which circuits are most important to me. Now, obviously, air conditioner, man, that would be great, but your central heating and air is not going to run off of a small portable generator. So it's just, you know, you're looking at 60 amps and my generator only puts out 30 amps, so it's not going to happen. Now, things like the fridge, the washer, my receptacles in the basement, microwave, dishwasher, that's kind of a luxury, don't really have to have it. Kitchen receptacles, I like to make my coffee. I really started out with things like the family room, the master bedroom suite, you know, so pick what you kind of think for your main essentials that you would like to have for a prolonged power outage. Now, right below my panel box is my transfer box. Now in the basement, you saw the 10-2 wire that came through the wall, through the ceiling, over into the laundry room. Well, that comes out here and then goes from here into my panel box. So let me show you how this works. Okay, so this is a Connecticut Electric transfer box, and this one is designed for a 240 circuit. My generator is just a 120. So basically I just don't have any 2-pole breakers on this. So I kind of took out the locking bar between these 2-pole circuits. So just to simplify things, the important circuits here, I chose from my current 200 amp panel box, and these I kind of have in order to here. So I can toggle back and forth between utility line side and then the generator source side. So what this does is it's basically a source selector. It's never going to push back onto the grid, because if I toggle circuit E, which is the washer and the internet, over the generator, guess what? It's feeding this circuit, the load side, from a generator. No pushing back to the grid, no energizing lines outside, endangering utility personnel, so it's isolated. Now, each of these are your trip circuits, so if there's an overload, all these center switches is source selectors. So these are going to be if you have a fault after you're sourcing it from generator. All right, so I know this is a lot of information, and you know, if you're not electrically inclined, this can be pretty stressful. So I mean, you can always use extension cords, it's fine. The benefit to this is it allows you to integrate your internal home wiring, say for like the family room, for the ceiling fan, for the lights. You can use things you cannot access with an extension cord through your electrical circuitry in your house, but you need a way to be able to isolate it. Don't reverse engineer and plug into an outlet and do all that sketchy stuff. I probably shouldn't even said that, but okay. Now, one important thing to note is before you swap any load from the house to the generator, you need to have your generator cranked already. So generators are not meant to start up under load. You need to start them without any load, then switch your load as needed. Same thing for when it's time to turn it off. You want to turn that load off, at least swap back over to the house, or just unplug it before turning off your generator. All right, so let's go through the steps for what we would do with my particular setup in a power outage. Okay, for my house, my particular setup, step one is pull the generator, the propane tank, and all of these accessories outside onto the patio. Now, I'm at least 10 feet away from the house, got good ventilation, exhaust fumes are not gonna be an issue for me, so I have a nice setup here on this basement patio. So step one, pull the generator out and all related accessories. All right, step two, be connect the propane to the generator. Also connect your 30 amp power cord and adapters to the inlet switch and the generator. All right, step three would be to open the gas. And then step four, start the generator. All right, check for voltage. Everything seems to be running great out here. Now let's go inside. All right, so we have our generator running, fuel connected. We're good outside. Now let's handle the inside switching. Okay, step one, let's open up our panel box. That way we can confirm what circuits we want. Then we'll come down here, unlatch the transfer switch box. And now, depending on how serious the situation is, this could be a short power outage or this could be a long power outage. Ideally, you would like to run as few things as possible to conserve on fuel. So, my immediate concerns are going to be the refrigerated goods, things in the freezer, and then, you know, if the kids need some entertainment and TVs, or if it's hot outside, maybe the fans. So what I'm going to do is come here, and luckily I kind of already prioritized these circuits, A being the family room. So let's say I want the family room on. I'm going to toggle this top rocker switch from line to generator. Now my family room is running off the generator. So in a simple scenario, I could just swap all these to generator. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. And now my whole house, well, all the circuits that I have here for my essentials are now being powered off the generator. But the more things you power with the generator, the more fuel you will consume. So that's something to think about. Okay, let's say lights are back. I want to put everything back to normal. So if your generator's still running, that's fine. Let's go ahead and shift the load back. So you can just go in reverse order. Really doesn't matter. Swap everything back to line. Because if I don't, when I turn the generator off, everything else is going to turn off because it's not fed from the source in my panel. So now I put everything back on the panel. I can close it up and go shut down the generator. All right, so now we're back out here at the generator. Remember, we don't shut down the generator while it's under load. I turned off all the switches, but if you're ever concerned that maybe you did not turn off all the switches, just unplug the generator. Now there's no load. So hey, let's turn it off. And I go back and forth, you know, shutting off the gas first versus turning it off. In theory, you turn off the gas, bleed the lines. That way there's no residual gas and you're not wasting any. But, I mean, it's only, you know, a 4.5 foot hose. It's not the end of the world. Plus, there's still gas in here. If I decide I need to crank this back up, the line is already primed. So, whew, man, it's a sticky day in Georgia. All right, well, that is a crash course for generators. We'll probably do some more detailed videos later. But, you know, that should get you started with how you could potentially have a home generator setup. All right, so for this project, I'm not going to get into the wiring of this just because, man, that's going to take a while to explain. I may do another video later about generator switch wiring. Probably if I ever install another switch, we'll do a more detailed video on how that process works.